The following is a CUNY TV special presentation.
We're here in our 11th year to celebrate the visionaries who have forged a path of excellence in education for students, teachers, and administrators in schools and colleges in New York City. They all share one thing in common: a passion for education to improve the lives of others. Over 30 award-winning teachers and administrators have prepared their most effective creative lessons, and they will appear online at educationupdate.com. These lessons can serve as a paradigm for others around the nation. Our three distinguished leaders in education, President of Teachers College, Susan Fuhrman, President of City College, Lisa Coico, and Dean of the NYU Steinhardt School of Education, Mary Brabeck, are exemplars of their college's mottos. Teachers College motto, "In thy light shall we see light." TC is now celebrating its 125th anniversary, has been in the forefront of teachers' education since its founding, including the Cowan Financial Literacy Program, soon to be launched for teachers in New York, Arizona, Minnesota, and North Carolina. The City College of New York motto is "Look to the past, present, and future." City College was the first free public institution of higher education in the United States and a leader in the sciences and engineering. The New York Steinhardt School of Education, the motto is "To persevere and to excel." NYU has cast its mantle over the globe. Thanks to all of our sponsors who have made this program possible and who have enabled Education Update to continue the excellent work with schools and students. They're all listed in the program. And if you see somebody with a ribbon that says sponsor, go and introduce yourself and shake their hand and say thank you. And finally, as Barack Obama says, a huge shout out to my advisory council, among the sharpest and most powerful brains in education in New York City. Can you please stand, Advisory Council? I could not have done this without you, and you are the ones who chose the Outstanding Educators of the Year. Ernest Logan, who he's the president of the union, the Council of Supervisors and Administrators. He was a teacher, he was a principal, and finally a union president who's indefatigable in fighting for the rights and best interests of his members. Ernest Logan, President Logan.
Everything I want to say to you today is about my faith in the quality of educational leaders in this great city. I'm going to talk to you a little bit this morning about the culture of testing. I'm going to talk about the real role of corporate America in education. And then I'm going to leave you some thoughts with the kind of school governance that makes sense. You play an important role in all three of those titles. First, many of you were with us in Brooklyn when we had TED Talks in education at BAM in May. There were educators from all over the country talking about their passion for what they do. Well-known people were there too, like Sir Ken Robinson, Jeffrey Canada, Bill Gates, and our amazing host that morning was John Legend, who talked about his own role as a student and about the educators who affected his life. They were all passionate. The most interesting thing, though, was that they all, even Bill Gates, talked about the overemphasis of testing and that it was getting in the way as educators and the way your students learn. Think about that. Even Bill Gates spent a lot of money talking about testing. Realized we put an overemphasis on testing. Jeffrey Canada warned us that tests were never meant to be used as punishment or for reasons for closing schools. Gates said that testing had gone too far. And Sir Kenneth, and those of you who know Sir Kenneth, said he would be happy if he never saw any testing again. Most people who spoke thought testing had only a little to do with teaching and learning. And I agree with them. That day we were in the midst of a national scandal about educators accused of cheating on tests. And all I could think of while I was sitting in that room was the inhuman pressure we've all been put under, which really didn't exist when I was a teacher, an AP and a principal. I was thinking back. Maybe we should go back to the future. Return to the days when kids took an exam without any preparation, forgot what they learned, but it allowed us as educators to look and see what their weaknesses were, and then adjust our teaching to what their needs were. And we helped them to overcome those weaknesses. But I have faith in you. You've been watching your children being tested on material that's considered part of the Common Core, but hasn't even been introduced into the classrooms yet. You've been comforting children crying in the halls, scared of failure. You've been watching testing contracts being signed with companies that are owned by billionaires, and this is just nuts. And you're not really accepting it. Over a year ago, Long Island principals were writing powerful open letters to legislators and to the public about over-testing. This year, a group of New York City principals published an open letter that was just as strong. And New York City teachers, you know, our UFT, has never been shy about their disapproval of teaching to the test. This year, parents joined us publicly and said enough. It's no accident at all, that last week Secretary Duncan told state education officials that they could delay using teacher evaluations that incorporate test results for personal determinations by another year until 2016-17. Not to go backwards, but let's stop a minute and pause and make sure what we're doing is right. The New York Times said postponement was in response to growing complaint from teachers, unions, school administrators, and parents, and that they were just being held accountable for results on tests before they had time to adjust to new curriculum standards. That means it was you folks who stopped that, because you spoke out. You were the ones who will ultimately show the education bureaucrats and the profiteers that standardized testing, the way it's being delivered now, isn't helping. As Jeffrey Canada said, you don't need the results in June when school is ending. Standardized testing should be used for diagnostic reasons to help children learn. This whole system should be revamped so that every student who enters a classroom in September gets a standardized test that's diagnostic. And then in mid-year, again, so we can see where they are. And then we can quickly change what we're doing in our practice to help them succeed. Not for punishing them or you, or closing your schools. I think you can see that reasonable rebellion is beginning to happen because of the common sense of people like you who care about children really learning and about their mental health and whether they're eating enough and sleeping enough and have a place to live. I'll add that we sometimes blame corporate America for turning our schools into commodities and our students and teachers into pawns in the game. There's some truth to that. But corporate America isn't one unified force for all the bad things. I see a lot of school leaders showing corporate America what they need to do for kids. A case in point is IBM. A couple of years ago, Stan Litow, formerly from the DOE, the old DOE that everybody talked was the worst place to be, Stan Litow went to IBM, and he was the vice president. And he invited me to a meeting and asked me to bring some principals and administrators who were devoted to STEM. IBM, CUNY, and the DOE had entered into a partnership to start a STEM middle school that would go all the way through grade 14 and end in an associate's degree. IBM would give those students first dibs at jobs. That school is P-Tech in Brooklyn. And the principal is Rashid Davis, one of the principals who was at an early meeting there. P-Tech is now a model for schools across the state and country. In fact, during the State of the Union address, the president gave him a shout out. That's what partnerships are all about. And there are a few more of them in this room. And you turn around town, you have the guts to go to IBM and you say, folks, we can do this. It is up to you as educators to go to corporate America and say, help me. Help me help my children. Tell me what you need in your industry. Help me design a school in the curriculum that helps me help you get students into the workforce. And I'm talking about a program called Pencil, who has been advocating for a long time about creating partnerships that don't focus on preparing students for a test, but for real careers in the real world, and bringing our leaders into the mix of corporate executives. So you are the ones that will lead the way to humanizing our schools again, so that a culture of learning that's stronger than the culture of testing. One way we're going to do this is through a humane form of school governance. Now, I'm a proponent of mayoral control. People look at me and say, who wants the mayor to be in charge? I do. Because I believe we can work better than a system of locally run school boards with a chancellor at the top. But I think a chancellor who reports to the mayor also needs to have authority to make sound educational decisions. That means that he or she has to be qualified to make those decisions. The chancellor has to be an educator. The mayor must choose an educator with a genuine education vision and the habit of walking through schools and recognizing true instruction. The chancellor would also run a more localized system that restores community school districts and the neighborhood superintendents who understand their communities. Let's bring the parents back into the mix. Let's bring somebody at the local geographic level who understands the community and the needs that that school community needs. We could combine the best of the new system with the best of the one that's on its way out the door. The mayor would recognize the value of the corporate world and engage our corporate citizens in programs that work for the business world and for our children's future careers. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but my members have made their decision and told me who they wanted the union to endorse. But I'm going to tell you that your vote will help you take the reins of real educational power. You can choose a mayor who has the guts to find an educational chancellor. Then the mayor will have time to focus on reducing poverty, improving housing, improving jobs, and keeping the middle class in New York City. The mayor might even have the smarts to find a chancellor from your own ranks sitting here. I'm honored to be with you here today. I not only congratulate you, but I thank you for the honor of allowing me to share this day with you. Thank you, Pola.
Senior Vice Chancellor Jay Hershenson of CUNY, who has been called Mr. CUNY and is himself a CUNY graduate, understands the importance of support and mentoring in education. Senior Vice Chancellor, I'd like to call you up now to present the first award.
Let's begin by thanking Pola for the extraordinary work that she does in promoting our greatest asset, the education of our children. Thank you, Pola Rosen. It's truly an honor to join you today to recognize and to celebrate three of the most exceptional and committed education leaders in New York City. Three women whose work is incredibly important in creating and sharing knowledge, in educating future generations, and in helping to build our city's future. Remember, every month is Women Making History Month. Doesn't that deserve a round of applause? President Lisa S. Coico. President Lisa, as she is known on campus by everyone, students, faculty, staff, and alumni, has led CCNY for 3 years. But she has been of CUNY, by CUNY, and for CUNY for much longer than that. Like me, she rose out of the CUNY of the 1970s. She graduated from Brooklyn College. Brooklyn College, Edith, right? That deserves a round of applause. Brooklyn is always in the house. She graduated with honors in biology, and because of our histories as New Yorkers and as graduates of CUNY colleges, President Coico and I share a very deep appreciation for the importance of the City University of New York in the lives of New Yorkers, both then and now. CUNY is a critical knowledge center, an economic engine, the key to success to the American dream for so many generations of New Yorkers, many of them immigrants or the children of immigrants. Lisa Coico, the first CUNY alumna to lead City College, sustains and represents that legacy. I remember when she first walked into the room of the City College Presidential Search Committee, everyone saw a prominent, highly accomplished scientist, a sensational administrator, and they saw a sturdy daughter of the CUNY system. Where did she go from Brooklyn College? She earned her doctorate in microbiology and immunology from the Cornell University Graduate School of Medical Sciences, now Weill Cornell Medical College. She conducted her postdoctoral research at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. She's been Dean of the College of Human Ecology at Cornell University. She directed the Tri-Institutional Research Program, a $160 million research consortium of Cornell, Sloan Kettering, and Rockefeller University. She then served as Provost, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Professor of Surgery at Temple University. She's a widely published expert in skin cell biology, wound healing, and burns. She held appointments as a Professor of Nutritional Sciences, Fiber Science, and Apparel Design, Professor of Microbiology and Surgery, Public Health, and Dermatology. Shortly after she came on board, she went to see Andrew Grove, the co-founder of Intel, who gave City College $27 million in 2006 for what is now the Andrew Grove School of Engineering. She told him she really looked forward to his continuing involvement. She kind of got to know him. They began to talk some more. And he said to her, "How much do I owe on my pledge?" Because as we all know in this room, many times when you receive a donation of $27 million, it's over a long, long period of time. And she said to him, "About 20 million. Andy Grove said, "Don't worry, I'll send you the rest." And shortly after, $18.5 million showed up at City College from Andy Grove. President Coico worked with General Colin Powell to raise over $30 million for the new Colin L. Powell School for Civic and Global Leadership at CCNY. And last year, she received a $10 million pledge from City College alumnus Martin Cohen, who I had the pleasure of being with at the recent City College graduation, where Chancellor Goldstein was the keynote speaker. And that'll be the first endowed deanship in CCNY history, the Martin and Michelle Cohen Dean of Science. And tonight, President Coico will propose to the CUNY Board of Trustees that the new science facilities at CCNY, and they are nothing short of spectacular, that those facilities be named the Matthew Goldstein Science Complex. So this award is about a great leader of City College, the alma mater of 9 Nobel Prize winners, a science powerhouse, an engineering powerhouse, a powerhouse on every level. And we are just so fortunate to have such an extraordinary leader as the president of the City College of New York and the winner of the Education Update Distinguished Leader in Education for 2013, Dr. Lisa S. Coico.
Thank you, Jay, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you all and good morning. It is a beautiful day, a beautiful summer day here in New York City, and I want to congratulate all of the honorees today, all of the New York City public school teachers and administrators that work every day tirelessly, not thinking of themselves, but only thinking of the success of their students. And this award wouldn't be possible without my team that is sitting here, because this is truly a group award. So I applaud you, my team at City College. So thank you. To me, it's such a joy to be the leader of the City College of New York. It is all about the joy of seeing students succeed. And I am a proud CUNY alumna, a proud product of New York City public school systems from elementary school right through college. And we continue at CUNY to provide that same platform. We continue to be the place in which first-generation immigrants can come and find a home and find success, receive an outstanding world-class education, and now with $1 billion worth of science buildings, being at the cutting edge of discovery in the STEM fields. And for me, it's truly a personal thing, because I see the transformative effect of education. Both of my grandmothers came over from Europe. One grandmother was sent to work in the factories when she was 7 years old. My other grandmother came through Ellis Island at 12 years old, married by 14. And I remember seeing my grandmother sign her name with an X. And I couldn't understand it when I was 13. I'd say, you know, what is this X? She has a name. And I think about it, those are my grandmothers. Without an education, where would I be? My grandmother signed her name with an X. I signed my name, Lisa S. Coico, president of the City College of New York. That's what it's all about. So thank you. I am very proud. I am very humbled. Thank you, Pola. It's just a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
I'd now like to call upon our next award presenter, President Jennifer Rabb of Hunter College, who has accomplished miracles in a short time. Collaboration between Sloan Kettering clinicians and scientists and Hunter's researchers and health science professionals, including the Hunter College's School of Nursing and a new School of Public Health located in Harlem. And the list goes on, including a brand new library that is state-of-the-art, unbelievable. Anyway, President Jennifer Rabb will be presenting an award to another president, President Susan Fuhrman of Teachers College.
Pola, my biggest accomplishment was getting you as our tenant. That was pretty smart. To our fearless leader, Jay, like many other rock stars known by only his first name. To Ernie Logan, our partner in principal training. We're so proud to work with you. Mary Brabeck, I want to congratulate you as a colleague, and although you'll be introduced by your wonderful NYU colleague, I want to give shout out to Charlotte Frank as our Hunter College alum, the woman who taught us all how to use a cafeteria voice. And Lisa, I couldn't think of a more well-deserved award. You're an extraordinary colleague, a wonderful advisor, an incredibly wise person, and a great friend. Susan, what a wonderful honor today to add this incredible award to your very, very long list of important awards, from Cranes to the City Controller, to your alma mater, Northwestern, to your place where you started your teaching career, Rutgers. The list is just too long to list today. You are a brilliant researcher in the area of education policy, involved with the Center for Policy Research and Education, president of the National Academy for Education, involved with the Carnegie Foundation, and with your groundbreaking work supported by grants from the National Science Foundation, the Department of Education, and the list goes on. But your research is not in the ivory tower. Your research is applied. It is with the passion of your heart to improve education. And it is that vision that marked your extraordinary 7-year tenure at the University of Pennsylvania's Education School. When we look at what the University of Pennsylvania was able to do in the Philadelphia community in education, we trace it back to your brilliance, to your research, to your fortitude, and your commitment to make the lives of the people better through education. And you have brought that vision and passion to Teachers College. Once again, there's a new school in the neighborhood because of your vision that Teachers College had to bring their scholarship, their research, and their commitment to the neighborhood. And another great mark of your tenure is so admirable at Teachers College, and that's your commitment to raising the scholarship so that nobody, because of means, is denied a phenomenal Teachers College education. You are a great fundraiser, and you showed that during times when the market was down. You persevered for your students. But I want to focus on two particularly special points about Susan. And that is really truly as a leader in education for the rights, the importance, and the value of our teachers and of our education schools. At a time where teacher bashing and the denigrating of education schools is beginning to pass for educational reform, Susan stands out to say, our education schools are of great value. Our teachers are the key to the classroom, they are the key to learning, they are the key to influencing each child, and they deserve a stellar education. They deserve pedagogical training, they deserve content training, and they deserve really deep and important and innovative clinical experiences. And Susan, you have stood up to the press, to the naysayers, to the people who say that education schools are part of the problem. You have shown that they are truly part of the solution by getting it right and by doing an extraordinary job at Teachers College. So it was no surprise when Teachers College was ranked by U.S. News & World Report number 6 in education schools in the country and number 2 in training our elementary school teachers. But it's not just these numbers that counts, it's your passion and your commitment that education is the way to civil rights in this country. It's the way to make a difference. And I would like to trace that back to an experience that we share. Susan and I were both really transformed as young girls as scholars and thinkers at Hunter College High School. So I hope, Susan, that the Distinguished Alum from our high school is one of your proudest awards. This was a time in which women were between that time of would you have a career, would you focus on your family? And Hunter College High School said to the Susans of the world, you should get an education, you should value this education, you're not going to learn to drive, you're not going to learn to type, and I don't know about you, but I can't do either very well. But you're going to be an educated woman, and you're going to give back because of the society giving you this incredible free education. You are going to give back, and you are going to become a leader. And that's what you did, Susan. And you showed, though, that women can do it all. You have a wonderful family to whom you're greatly devoted, but you have made a great difference in this society. There is an expression from back then that goes, you could always tell a Hunter girl, but you can't tell her much. And I think perhaps, Susan, that may be true of you, but in all the ways that shows that you're a great, independent, spunky thinker. You're a true leader. You don't take no for an answer. And it is a great honor today to present you with this award from Education Update. Susan Fuhrman.
I want to say, when you get an introduction like that you sort of, are absolutely blown away by. It reminds me, I once shared a panel with Governor Hunt of North Carolina, and he had such an introduction, and he stood up and he said, I wish my wife and mother were here. My wife would have appreciated it, and my mother would have believed it. So thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Education Update, for this wonderful honor. I'm so delighted and humbled to be recognized along with President Coico and Dean Brabeck. Thank you, Ernest, for that rousing keynote early in the morning. We all appreciate it. And Pola, who deserves extraordinary applause for her commitment to keeping education news and issues front and center. So we all want to thank you for what you do for education. So Pola is one of Teachers College's 90,000 living alumni. When you are 125 years old and you're as large as Teachers College is, you can have so many alums. Could I just see a show of hands of how many in this room are among the 90,000? Yes, well, hi and welcome, and we'll be contacting you about our wonderful 125th anniversary campaign. And of course, I'm so fortunate to have exceptional leadership at Teachers College. We have one of our trustees, Joyce Cowan, here. You already heard about her fantastic project along with Pola and others in financial literacy. And Joyce has been such a great supporter and leader at TC. And I want to recognize our whole Teachers College team over here at table 8. So thank you all. I'm so pleased that outstanding teachers and principals from around this city are also being recognized today for their accomplishments. It's so important that we celebrate the city's fine educators who work tirelessly every day under difficult conditions to ensure that children in New York have access to an excellent education. It's no news the challenges we all face today: new reform initiatives, funding constraints, and the changing needs of an ever more diverse student population, and an increasingly complex and more technological world. But as we mark our 125th year at TC and we look back to 1888, and we think about the challenges then: industrialization and technology were creating both vast wealth and deep economic uncertainty. A vast new influx of people was pouring into the United States from around the world. Communities were grappling with issues of health, race relations, education, and crime. Sound familiar? So I don't mean this to depress, but to say that we are always facing challenges, and in the 1880s, Teachers College was able to make a great mark, and I hope that we can in the 21st century as well. We have so much work to do on so many fronts. We must engage our best minds to transform our schools, address the most pressing needs of our communities, and harness the power of research and technology to support more effective learning. So, once again, thank you all. It's an honor to be honored and to be among the many talented educators and leaders in this room. Thanks.
I can't help but notice that the 3 distinguished leaders in education today are women. It doesn't mean anything, I just want to point it out. And another very interesting thing, that these 3 colleges all have public high schools that are attached to them. That was never the case years ago, certainly not when I was a college student, and I think that's terrific. I want to call upon Dr. Charlotte Frank, a leader at McGraw-Hill Education. She is tied to City College, to NYU, and Hunter College, having contributed science and study facilities to all 3. She's played an active role in international as well as national education, and she recently received among her, is it 69 awards now, or 79 awards, but most recently from NYU, and an organization for special needs children called Shalva. I give you, Shalva, thank you. I give you Dr. Frank.
And as Dr. Rob said, I will give you my cafeteria voice. I'll go back here, but that shows I have never lost my school education, schoolyard voice. It is really an absolute honor to be here today, to hear everybody talk about education in a very positive way. You don't hear that, and you hear about people working together. All right? I guess I have to go back to my cafeteria voice. It is my honor to present an award to honor Mary M. Brabeck, PhD, Gail and Ira Drucker, Dean and Professor of Applied Psychology at the Steinhardt School of Culture, Education, and Human Development at New York University. All those words means that she's a very special person, and she's got a lot to do. In fact, when I first got my own personal information about Mary Brabeck. Mary at this moment doesn't even know this. But in 2003, I also do the development, the implementation of the Harold McGraw Prizes in Education. And in 2003, we get all kinds of nominees, and one of them is, doesn't even know that, Mary Brabeck, who is the dean of the Lynch School of Education at Boston College, was being nominated. I didn't know who she was, but it's among the 80 candidates. Somehow she was not selected. Then I find out she's over at NYU, my place, and I got to know her. So, not knowing anything about Boston College and the Lynch School in Boston, I got to learn so much about her. She has all kinds of awards. I mean, I can tell you, I downloaded about these many pages about the awards and the work that she has done. She is serving on the Council for the Accreditation of Educated Preparations Commission on Standards and Performance Reporting. Those are the fancy words, letters CAPE for the former NCATE. And she is chair of its Quality and Selectivity Working Group. This is important in the whole issue of higher education. She has served on a number of boards and organizations, all kinds of names. Wonderful. She has published over 100 papers, books, and chapters, and her research interests include intellectual and ethical development, evidence-based teacher education, values and conception of the moral self. Just listen to the three kinds of things that, she really started as a psychologist, a human person. Her most recent edited works are Practicing Feminist Ethics in Psychology and Meeting at the Hyphen, Schools, Universities, Professions in Collaboration for Student Achievement and Well-Being. And the one thing that we know, everybody in this room, is that schools have to be working with the universities and the professions. Nothing can happen alone. They all have to work networking, and they have to work collaboratively, and the linchpin for those very often is the Dean of the School of Education, and Mary Brabeck is that. On a very personal note, I have always been very proud of how international she is and how busy she is. If you look at her credits, she has spoken in Canada, not far, Mexico, Paraguay, and Abu Dhabi, among many places, in addition to NYU right here in New York City. She is an international reference, and she also has, I won't even talk about it, I will talk about it. She has a wonderful taste for good food. She and her husband we get together periodically at a great Irish pub in my neighborhood. And the next thing I know is they go there when I'm not even there. So just think about all the qualities this lady has that's multi-interested, multi-ethnic. Mary Brabeck is a warm, caring, people person who is admired as much for who she is, for what she has done in her own profession. It is really my honor to say, Dr. Mary Brabeck, come on up and get your award.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you for being Charlotte Frank. I think 90% of the people in this room know that we all work for Charlotte Frank. And it is a great honor to be honored today in the midst of all of these other wonderful honorees so deserving, and it's a real pleasure and a very humbling honor. I want to also acknowledge all of my fellow deans here today. I'm so glad that you can do something that is a joyous occasion, because I understand so many of your moments of the day are not as joyous as this morning. And I want to thank my Dean's Council that supports me so well and so steadfastly, including the president of my Dean's Council, Van Sable, who has joined us today. You can't be a leader in higher education alone anymore. You need your fellow deans, you need your supporters. I've been in higher education for 30 years, And 20 years of that time, I've been in academic administration and been responsible for teacher education programs. And I have to say, I think that this moment that Ernest Logan so well characterized, and so many have referred to, is a moment that I would characterize as a perilous opportunity. And I think Ernest has detailed, and Susan also, the peril here in this moment for our country and for our public education system. But it is also an opportunity, and that opportunity is seen in the membership in this room and all of the lives that are touched by the people in this room, all of the aspects of our education system who are represented here. There is no silver bullet for a complicated issue like improving K-12 public education. There's no silver bullet for that. But we've come as close as we possibly can to a silver bullet when we say education is the right goal. Education, improving education is the right goal. And I think to keep striving for that goal, to keep striving for a better education system for our country, requires hope. And that's why gatherings like this are so important, because you can look around and you can see that the sky is being held up by millions of people. And that hope, I think, is characterized best in one of my favorite verses from Emily Dickinson, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." I think hope is what this world needs in order to do the work that will enhance our K-12 education. And it is hard to keep hope alive. It is not easy to do that. Lily Tomlin, the great comedian, says, and she wasn't talking about education, but she could have been, when she said, "I get more and more cynical each year, but I just can't keep up." We have to get beyond the cynicism and hold on to the hope to enhance our K-12 system. And it is for that reason that I am so honored and so grateful to receive an award from Education Update, because Pola Rosen stands as a bulwark against cynicism in higher education. She brings the good news stories forward through her reporters, through her own work, and through her life. So thank you, Pola. I think you are a source of hope for our education system.
And I just want to say that besides hope, I think gatherings like this serve as a source of inspiration to all of us. We are inspired and learn from each other. I'd now like to present certificates. I'm going to call upon some of our sponsors to present certificates to our outstanding teachers and administrators of the year. Our first sponsor, Con Edison, with Susan McMillan. Shannon is the principal of the Urban Assembly School for Law and Justice in Brooklyn. Aurelia Curtis is a principal from Curtis High School in Staten Island. Dr. Robert Finnan-Jones is a deputy network leader, Children First Network in Brooklyn. Dr. Tyson, who I've come to know well. We did a journalism project in the Young Women's Leadership School. Barbara is the principal of PS 10 in the Bronx. And the medal to Abedimi Hope is an assistant principal at Purvis Beth Behan Public School 11 in Brooklyn. Heather is a principal at PS 53 in Brooklyn. Wanda Mendez is assistant principal of PS 155 in Manhattan. Brian is a principal of Scholars Academy in Staten Island. Oh, you gotta come down over there. LU Diop is the Academy for Scholarship and Entrepreneurship in the Bronx. Dr. Lopez is the CEO and founder of International Leadership Charter High School in the Bronx. Susan Smith, supervisor of teachers of the visually impaired at the Hungerford School in Staten Island. Marcia Steinberg is the assistant principal of PS 169, the Robert Kennedy School in Manhattan, a school for emotionally special needs children, and we did a journalism project there. Fabulous place. Alicia Ali, the Unity Center for Urban Technologies in Manhattan. And Adani Barwani is the Rosa Parks School in Queens. Maria Elena Buckley is from Public School 11 in Staten Island. Congratulations. Maria Elena Buckley, the Audubon School in Manhattan. Rachel Carson High School in Brooklyn. Wonderful. And Deborah Gillick, Liberation Diploma Plus High School in Brooklyn. Nancy Gonzalez is from the John Bernstein PS 137 School in Manhattan. Kayla Hamilton is from Global Technology Preparatory School in Manhattan. Mallory Kenny, and Stephen Jackson, and Claire Villard, please come up to the front. Stephen Jackson from PSMS 278 in Manhattan. Claire Villard, Robert. Mr. Maverick is from the Theodore Roosevelt Educational Campus in the Bronx. Charlotte and I know it well. I want to call upon Dr. Harold Kopowitz, who will be representing Daniel and Brooke Knightish, and with Jorge Santos, please come up. Elizabeth is from the PS 550 in Queens, PS 50. And John, you'll be giving an award to Kristen Techie. All right. But thank you all for a wonderful, wonderful event.